Okay, hey guys, welcome to this week's edition of the One Lane Road Podcast. We got, for you guys checking us out for the first time due to our guest here, my name's Dustin Kennedy. I'm one of the hosts here. This is my partner, Lucas Hickman.
Hey, everybody.
So we're joined by Clay County basketball coach Rob Edwards, Mr. Basketball 2017, Tyreke Key. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. I'm doing great.
Good. Glad y'all could be with us tonight.
Yeah, and the big storm we just had, everybody's here safe.
Yeah.
No, all the hail and the tornado warnings and everything. So
I had to stop on the side of the road and check on somebody. They had hydroplaned and run off in a field on the way home from work. There, only words he could get out was I've never wrecked before. That's the only thing he could tell me. Poor kid was shaking like a leaf.
So anybody had listened to her earlier when we had we went over to Clay County High School back prior to the season, kind of a
preamble to the season, and boy, did I screw it up.
Just learning along the way. We didn't know that it had an echo. We're just like, we were just talking about it off air before we started recording here, that everybody was asking for it. Everybody was excited to hear these boys, and the girls also spoke after the episode, and turned out pretty bad quality. So I talked to Tyreke here after the sub-state game and said, let's do it again. He said, let's do it. And talked to Rob here, and so glad to have them here in our posh studio, boys. Y'all an exclusive. We're kind of a big deal right here in the studio.
The podcast basement right here.
Hey, we'll be safe from the storm.
That's right.
Sure. So my wife will be glad to know that.
Yeah.
It ain't pretty, but it's
it's getting prettier. Not much.
So let's jump right on into it. A lot of stuff to cover from this season. Before we actually get into the question asking, we're going to just kind of go over some stats. Just knock those out of the way. Go ahead and put all the team first. 32-5, the first state championship game appearance. This fifth time for you in the state, Rob.
Yes,
and,
correct.
3 times under Thomas Watson in the 80s. And I messed up right off the bat when I put you on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I put 2016, 2017 district coach of the year, and I noticed I wasn't getting a lot of love from my friends in Jackson County from the post. come to find out, Rob didn't win an award this year. Coach Kevin Thomas won that award, so they're
from Jackson County.
From Jackson County, so started off real well on my part, messing up right off the start. So I apologize to my Jackson County friends. I understand I didn't get a lot of Jackson County games, but he put a lot of discipline in that team, and that's one thing I know that they had needed.
Mm-hmm.
So my apologies to Coach Thomas for jumping the gun on Rob here. I think Rob can deserve that award just about any year.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll look around at some stuff that you've done in your career, Tyreke. See, you were the Tennessee Sports Writers Association All-State team 3 consecutive years. Tennessee and All-State first team all classifications 2017. District 7A MVP for the last 3 years. District 7A tournament MVP for the last 3 years. Region 4A tournament MVP 2017.
TSSAA Mr. Basketball finalist in 2016. TSSAA Class A Mr. Basketball winner in 2017. TSSAA State Tournament MVP. A 105-28 overall record and 15 of those losses in the freshman year. That's pretty good. Only 13 losses after your freshman year. That's a pretty good record, bud.
A lot to say about it.
Yeah.
A lot to say about it. So let's get down to a lot of people talking about these stats. Man, I tell you what, your TSSAA record, your points in the season, we'll get into more detail. We're just going to go ahead and knock these numbers out just in case they don't come back up. 1,383 points, most career free throw attempts with 990, most career free throw makes with 733. So you're not exactly Shaq from the line or anything. So that's pretty good. Free throw attempts in the season 426. You ended your career with 3,237 career points, which is 10th most in Tennessee history. Obviously, the most in Clay County history. So.
Pretty good season. Pretty good. Well, not season. Pretty good everything there. And then you got to the TSSAA state tournament. You had the most points in a state tournament game, 128, which I believe you broke the record by 5 points. I believe it was 123 before that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And then most points in a state tournament game with 54. Most points scored in one quarter, you tied the 23. And then most field goals made in a tournament with 44. You went down there and lit that tournament up.
What was it like playing on that stage down there? Just for the third year in a row you've played down there?
bright lights. It's just you got to embrace the moment, I guess.
Did you ever feel kind of overwhelmed at any point?
No, I just try to go out there and play.
Yeah, I didn't think you did look too overwhelmed at any point. So, I guess just starting the question off, Rob. You know, you've had this kid for 4 years. When did you kind of realize in his career that you had something special?
Well, I always try to go and watch junior high and a few junior high games for Hermitage Springs kids and the K8 kids, and just kind of see what's coming. And I guess in 8th grade, I could tell that he was going to be pretty good. But I think really between his freshman and sophomore year is really when I could tell he was going to be really good, because he was just in the gym all the time. He and the 2 other seniors at the time that were on the team, Peyton and Dawson, they were, they'd be at the gym waiting on me. If I said I'd be there at 9, they'd be there at 8:30. And if I said we were going to leave at 2, they'd want to stay till 2:30. They were just their work ethic and Tyreke's work ethic just. Between those 2 years in particular is when we really, really knew that he was going to be good and this was going to be a good class.
Right. So you had, and I remember that little fall league that you done over there for the whole district. And I remember people talking about him that he was going to be something. And I think you hustled some kids over there is what you did that year, because I come over here looking, I refereed that for you. So a little bit over there.
You did. Fine job, by the way, as I remember.
Well, I appreciate that. A lot of my refereing skills have went undermined for years and underappreciated. So I was checking Tyreke out there playing, and I was thinking, I don't know, everybody's saying he's going to be this and this and this, and then he played, but he was kind of looked like he was holding back a little something. Then the season started. I thought, he's hustling these kids. He wasn't trying to break out all of his tricks playing against Jackson County and Clark Range. So it's been nonstop since then.
Yeah.
No stopping you since that time, right?
No.
Well,
Anybody can stop you in that district? You ain't gonna answer that. I was gonna see if you would.
Well, tell us a little bit about whenever you went and played AAU ball with the Bobcats. How did that come about, Rob? Did you find that, or was that something that Tyreke had come across, or how'd that come about?
Well, for years we'd play in the Christmas tournament in Wayne County, Kentucky, and the guy that coaches up there, Rodney Woods, his son, Peyton Woods, a couple years older than Tyreke, I think. He had played on the Tennessee Bobcats with Coach Feltner. And so Coach Woods had contacted Coach Feltner and said, there's this kid at Clay County that you might be interested in. And then he contacted me and gave me, just through a mutual friend, we that's how it all started.
Right. Well, what was the competition like when you played with the Bobcats? Was that a lot different than playing in your district and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was a whole lot faster, and it's just you could tell it's a whole lot different game.
Right.
Playing AAU.
Yeah. So have you got to see any of those boys since then?
No, I ain't seen any of them except Grant. I played against him in the state tournament.
Oh, who did he play for?
Grace Christian.
Grace Christian.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they both had 34 points in the state tournament.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Grant had 34 and you had 34. And they played on the same AAU team.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of competition from back in there, huh? Well, that's good, man. Do you feel like that actually raised your game up in general?
Yeah, I think it helped me a whole lot more going and traveling and going to those big places and playing against better competition.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that definitely helped you get noticed, I would imagine, because not everybody just beats down the door in Salina, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Locally you got your local colleges, but maybe an Indiana State and a UNC of Charlotte wouldn't have found you if not for those AAU tournaments. And I thought that was a big help in getting your name out there a little further.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Okay. So Rob, this was your 16th season, right?
17th.
Yeah, I wondered when I put that. I was just wondering to see if you'd correct me or not. I figured it was,
you were pretty close.
that's close enough, But can you describe kind of the level of excitement in your fan base? The home crowds were full every year. Fan base traveled well. And same token, you can answer that after Coach Tyreke. How did that know feeling the whole town was supporting you guys? Okay.
Well, I've said for years that Salina, Clay County, we always had a great fan base. We've always had even in years past, and maybe when we weren't as good as we have been the last couple of years. But the last couple of 3 years in particular, have been phenomenal.
Right.
I think that's an appropriate word. They just,
Yeah.
people travel and they want to see these guys play just because they're so much fun to watch. They're all great kids, high character kids, and they have good body language on the floor. You don't see them dropping their heads and arguing with the officials and those type things. They're just fun, a good team to watch. They just provide some good entertainment.
I agree. Then this is one of you've always had very well disciplined teams, and I thought this one, like you said, the body language never failed, even when you guys got in foul trouble. Fouls, I never seen these guys complaining a whole lot. So that's on you as a coach for one. So and a lot of games that I went to on the road, it was almost like a home game for you guys because your fan base did travel so well. Like I said, and you've always get me in trouble every time in Jackson County because I sit on your side. Right? I've told you that 100 times. But so how was it for you guys? How much did it pump you guys getting up there and knowing that crowd was ready to see you dunk and all that stuff?
Gave us that energy. They always, I think the crowd always helped us out and gave us that boost that we needed. I think that they really helped.
There's my wife's grandmother is an avid basketball fan, and she would absolutely call us every time she went and watched a game and tell us how you did. It was fantastic. And boy, there was a lot of people upset about those seats over there during that game where they sold 1,000 tickets to that thing. There was some people upset about that, wasn't there?
I was about to put mine on StubHub.
Yeah. I thought we could have probably scalped a few of those.
Yeah,
made some good money.
Yeah, somebody could have made some money off of those.
But we had 1,500 allotted to sell, but we ended up only selling, I think, about 1,250 or something like that. So, but you figure there's probably counting the both teams and cheerleaders and everybody got in on passes. There's probably 100 more people in there, so probably 1,350 people or better that night.
You could have had your father-in-law out there slinging them by the front door with that "I need ticket" sign around his neck there. So Tyreke, I've never seen a player just take over a team in the community the way you did, and still be able to stay very humble. And that's one thing you always hear about you is just humble. And even from afar, you're like, yeah, but is he really? But when you get there, you're like, man, this kid really is humble. Who instilled that in you? And second part of that is, what does Coach Edwards demand from you? Because I would imagine part of that discipline comes from him.
Yeah.
And or as far as what he demands from you guys on a day-to-day basis, and how is he able to also keep you disciplined and have fun along the way?
Just before every game, he tells us to go out and have fun. Just embrace the moment that we have. Be lucky that we're there. Not everybody gets to play the sport that we do, so we just go out and embrace the moment.
Yeah, because I couldn't. A lot of times during those games, you'd see you guys come over, even in tough times, and Rob would say something to you, and y'all would just laugh. I noticed that, you keep it pretty loose also in those moments, it seems like.
Well, yeah,
in a way,
these guys, this team in particular, they're going to play as hard as they can. They're going to practice every day as hard as they can. We know that there's about 3 or 4 people that can't ever have a bad practice. One's the head coach.
Yeah.
The other guy is always the best player. And then the seniors, whoever the seniors are, those guys cannot have bad practices. They have to have a good practice every day. And I never had to worry about that with these guys. They just, they came in every day ready to practice and ready to try to get better and help their teammates get better. So, a lot of the credit just goes to them. They just want to win.
Right. So where does the humbleness come from?
I'm just quiet.
Just quiet.
I want to get to my head.
Yeah, and it's amazing because I've seen a lot of mediocre players in this area get a big head, and they didn't put 38 and 40 and 54 on nobody.
Yeah.
So it's just it's great to see.
Yeah, it's a real nice thing to see, and even the people around the tournament down there were talking about that. You heard other people in the crowd. As you're walking around, you hear people talking, and there's people from other teams, all over the place talking about you. And I said, boy, it's a good guy. He's real quiet and real humble and stuff like that. So it was nice. It comes across even to the people in the crowd too.
Yeah.
And I tell you one thing that I noticed and said many times throughout the season, especially in the tournament, for a guy that can score at will almost the way you did. There's a certain point that's like you're so unselfish, and is it growing up with these guys and knowing them and being friends off the court that helps you kind of develop that trust to get your teammates involved and trust them with big shots on the line?
Yeah, I've always just had trust in them. We practice every day together. I just try to find the guy I can. If they're open, I try to get it to them. If I have a lane,
I mean, one play that sticks out in my mind in the state tournament game, like I said, we'll talk about it more as it comes, but when you're driving down the lane, you kick the shot to Petey in the right corner. I said that was absolutely the right basketball play because he's a sharp shooter, and I just thought it was the right play. Whether he hit the shot or not, that was the right play at that time.
I trusted him. I mean, I have trust in all my guys.
Well, I mean, you boys are tight. That helps when you're tight off the court. I still remember when Chris Boone went to go to the Marines, which was probably 9 years ago. Yeah. You and Dawson being down there at the park throwing water balloons. There's the little annoying kid you couldn't get rid of. They was throwing water balloons at me and Chris the whole time. So that helps build those relationships. So Rob, let's talk about those other contributors. I thought your seniors played well, but you were also able to develop some younger players who got some key minutes and experience for future roles with your team. So just kind of talk about the other players that Tyreke gets so much credit, but we know it's a team sport. So
absolutely, these guys. Talk about these other seniors real quick, and then I'll touch on those other guys as well. Dawson. His junior and senior year, he shot 37% from the 3-point line. Peyton, his junior and senior year, shot 44% from the 3-point line. So, that takes so much pressure off of Tyreke because teams have to spread out and they have to, pick your poison, so to speak. You either guard the shooters or you try to guard Tyreke. And, a lot of times they would try to guard Tyreke and just hope that the shooters weren't hitting. But, when you got two guys that shoot that high of a percentage 2 years in a row, it makes it tough. And another thing I can say about Dawson is probably at least since I've been there, is the career leader in charges taken.
No doubt.
I have him for 80 plus in his career.
What was your nickname for him?
What did we call him there for a while? Visa. I think is what we call him. Yeah. So, and that's almost as big of a momentum swing as when Tyreke dunks it, or when Peyton hits a big three or something. That taking that charge, that takes away a lot of points from other teams. It's not just a big play, but it takes points off the board for the other team a lot of times. So, and it takes a special kid to be willing to sacrifice his body and take that kind of punishment night in and night out.
Yeah, and sell it right too. It's not that he was not actually taking them, but you've got to be able to make it look like you're doing it, right?
You do. I mean, you got to grunt a little and have a little enthusiasm about it because lots of times, officials
don't see them.
They'll be looking away, and if they hear that, that had to be a charge. He got killed. So, we try to outsmart the officials sometimes. Right. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But
he's definitely one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And, for sure. He might take some acting classes in college.
He might give some. I don't know.
But yeah, dive into those. That was your seniors, and dive into some of those younger kids. It's gonna.
Well, one senior I didn't talk about much was Braden.
Right.
Braden didn't play his freshman or sophomore year because of injury, and so he's kind of behind. But he contributed in his own way because typically in practice he was always on the scout team. He was the other team's best player.
Okay.
And he was the team that the guy that we always put our best defender on, or however we were going to do that. And he accepted that role. And you know what? It's hard to get a senior to do that.
Right.
But now Braden did that. He embraced it, and he helped this team in ways he'll never understand probably, but by doing that. But and it also shows those younger guys too that there's no shame in doing that. That's a big role that he played.
Well, you need a leader on both sides of the court at that point in time, especially if you're out there scrimmaging and you want good competition for your guys. You want it game like. You got to have a good leader on the other side too.
Absolutely. And Braden did that for us. So
yeah.
So that was big for him. From him, we only have one junior on the team. That's Seth Ogletree, and typically he guards the other team's best player. That's just kind of what he did, and some nights, he may score 12 or 14. Some nights he may score 6, and he contributes in different ways. But, he always guarded the other team's best player. He just has a motor that never stops.
Right.
He got himself under control a little bit more as the season went along.
Mm-hmm.
I know last year as a sophomore and this year early in the season he was really foul prone, but he managed to harness that in and do a much better job as the season progressed and really helped us out by guarding. And there were times when he'd guard the other team's best player and they might have 3 points. Maybe they averaged 17 or 18 a game. Brian Gibson from Pickett County is a good player, and in the district and region tournament, he had 3 points each time when Seth guarded him. So
that's one thing I had said before the season. I said he's going to do something. Because he did play a little out of control last year. But the games I saw, he did play a little more in control. But he's a lot of your garbage points off offensive rebounds. He's a freakish athlete, man. He can get up really quick off the jump. Then, like you said, just he's long and rangy enough to be a good defender. So I saw a big improvement in him this year, I thought.
Yeah. Some other guys that, of course, Gavin was our other starter, Gavin Silk, and he started from start to finish. He missed 2 games this year because he was sick a couple times, but I don't know how to describe. He's just a beast, man. He just he's just a monster. He played. You see him in the state tournament playing against a guy that's 6'9", and he has 17 points and 10 rebounds against him.
Yeah.
Explain that.
But, for a big guy, that big player, he's pretty quick. He's got some good moves on him too. It was good. Everybody's kind of going away from that big man play, but he's a good big man. Got some good big man moves.
Oh, he is absolutely. He uses his body as well as anybody I've ever had.
He really does.
Chad Watson is the other guy that comes to mind who built kind of like him and could use his body in a similar way, but Gavin is just really, really smooth.
Yeah, he makes good use of his body, getting room too. I mean, he can clear out and make some good drop step moves.
I've been excited for him for 2 or 3 years, just watching him, even when he was in 7th and 8th grade leagues down here, and the talent. And man, when his brother comes up and plays with him, those Silk boys are going to be pretty good ball players for you, I think.
Oh, I think so too. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
And the other one's got a little bit more swagger. It seems like he's got a little pep in his step. He bounces off those calf muscles, and when he's walking around strutting a little bit, Gavin's kind of more low key about it, and Gunner got a little swag to him.
They have different personalities for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
that's pretty sure they do.
Man, they're going to be good ball players for sure.
Gavin had 4 double-doubles this year, shot 80% from the free throw line. Just some things that I've written down here about each guy, but that kind of stood out, And then there were 8 or 11 times where he had 10-plus rebounds in a game.
Yeah.
So, and that's as a sophomore. So we expect him to get better too. And, he's another kid that really wants to work hard and tries to get better. So. Some other guys, and Heath Kimes came off the bench. We've all had probably like a mosquito bite on us or something, just won't stop itching, and Heath was that to a lot of people on offense. He just really aggravated people. I think probably the most memorable play for him this season. I guess early in the year he threw that alley-oop to Tyreke at Red Bull in the Springs. That was a pretty good play. That made some kind of highlight reel on. It was all over Twitter or whatever, but YouTube. But in the sub-state game, I thought he made the biggest play of the game in the sub-state game when he picked that pass off there in the second quarter and went down and scored a layup because they were trying to slow the game down and keep us out of rhythm and not let us get running in transition. And Heath came in and we ran a little run and jump, and they made a pass cross court, and he just picked it off and scored. And pretty much said, you're in Clay County. You're gonna play like we won't play.
Yeah.
You know what I like about him? In the age of everybody wants to be buddies with everybody on the basketball court, he will get right in your face and talk trash. He will foul you. He'll take the foul. He's gritty, man. I love it. I mean, and I love his family, and I loved watching him play because he got right up in people's grill and talk trash, and I love it. I love it personally. I hate all this. I'm your buddy. We're Facebook friends, and you're great, and you're great. Heath don't care nothing about telling you you're great. And I don't know what he says to him, but it ain't nothing positive. I promise you that. I love it.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask him what he's saying.
I
probably don't want to know either.
He's doing his job.
Jake Ashlock, freshman, really, really skilled. Really, really skilled. Got a lot better as the season went on. Was pretty nervous and timid early in the year, but as the season progressed, if you know basketball, you can watch Jake and tell he's really special. He's going to be really good. is really good now, but is going to get better. Can play any position. He can play anywhere from the 5 to the point guard. I mean, he's just that's how skilled he is. Good passer, good ball handler, can shoot it, good footwork. B.J. Emberton's probably the second best athlete on the team behind Tyreke. Just a freakish type athlete. He's not real big or anything, but makes some plays and can really do some things. We need him to score for us next season for us to be successful again. So,
so that's pretty much to wrap up your whole roster right there. And Tyreke, when the season started, there was more and more chatter coming about the records being broke, and the main record in question was whether you could ever get to Joey Coe's scoring record. And when you're talking about Clay County basketball, a lot of times the conversation begins and ends with Joey Coe, and he'll still be out there at 45, 50, whatever Joey is, trying to put 30 on somebody in a rec league gym. I guarantee it. He's shooting the ball somewhere right now. How does it feel? I know the effect those teams of the 80s had on Salina. How does it feel knowing that you're forever going to be mentioned with all-time greats in Clay County?
It's just a great feeling, I guess. Just to be mentioned with those guys feels pretty good.
How much do you know about those guys? I mean, because I never even got to see them.
I
know you think we're old, but
I heard they're good. I've never really seen anything seen any film on them or anything. So.
What was that team scoring in the 80s? 100 and what a game?
I'm not sure. I know they had several games over 100 points, and I don't think there was a 3-point line at that time. So, they had some guys that could really score it.
And I think Joey's made mention of that along the way around the scoring record, that there wasn't a 3-point line.
Right.
And I've said that's not your fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the area you're playing, You got to do what you got to do. So I don't want to put anybody on the spot here, Rob, but, it's almost impossible to compare eras. But you've seen those guys. You've coached him. You've had some really good players along the years through here. So where would you put him? Where would you put Tyreke in the rankings? I know it's hard to rank, but
well, first of all, you do enjoy putting people on the spot because you've done that to me a couple times. But
tonight or in general?
Just in general.
He says that a lot, but he always does it.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer it.
Yeah.
No, I don't care to answer. I mean, for my money, Tyreke's the best player in Clay County history. I can't speak for those other guys. Was Joey Coe a better pure shooter? Probably, possibly. Could Jeff Arms jump higher? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I played against Jeff a couple times in high school, but outside of that, I don't know. Just being around Tyreke for 4 years and knowing his personality, I just have to say that, in my opinion, he's the best player in Clay County history. Now, I'm sure that those guys in the 80s would disagree, and if I were had I coached those guys, I might disagree too. Right. But just speaking here, I'd have to go with him.
And you notice I put arguably on my Facebook post because I wasn't trying to get heat from anybody either.
Right.
And somebody texted me today and said, why did you put arguably? He's probably the greatest player. I said, is he the greatest player I've seen? Yeah, but I'm 33. I didn't see those other guys either. He said, you're just trying to back up the Craggids. You don't want to mess up your friendship with the Craggid brothers. And I said, we're talking Hermitage Springs. It's all another. I'll always put the Craggids on the list if you're talking Hermitage Springs. But for my money, most exciting. And my father-in-law, James Hamilton, he always would say, man, you got to come over and see this kid. He's been bragging on you for 3 years. So, glad you answered that as honestly as possible. I apologize. I put you.
Well, no, that's fine. I mean, I just feel that way. Tyreke gets a lot of credit for offense, for scoring 3,237 points, as he should. But you know what? When it came down to it at the end of games, several times, if there was a kid that we were worried about hurting us or scoring us the last 4 minutes of the game, in the timeout, I'd say, Tyreke, you're going to have to take 12. You just got to guard him for 4 minutes here. And he could do it. A good example is the region championship game when the Abbott kid from Pickett County was just scoring whenever he wanted to. And Tyreke had 2 big defensive plays. He blocked 2 shots there down the stretch, and I think he blocked one and actually got the ball there toward the end of the game that pretty much sealed it. And it's just the kind of, and I can't, and that's another reason that I can't say, Joey and Jeff, I don't know. I don't know how they were on both ends of the floor.
Yeah.
You know, I just know what I've heard,
Right.
and I know they were great players, and I have a lot of respect for them. But I know what Tyreke's capable of. So
In a way, I hate to answer it. I hate to even ask that because even though I ask it, I hate to ask it, but because like it always drives me crazy being an NFL fan, saying who's better, Manning or Brady. Why can't we just sit back and enjoy both of them? You
Right.
know, and so who cares who's better? Let's
Right.
just maybe I like Manning better, maybe you like Brady better.
Yeah.
So everybody's always going to have their fans. It's a fun point of discussion in the sports world. Always ask who would you take, but it was great. I'm sure it was great to watch those guys in their prime, and it was a pleasure to watch you. So let's just enjoy all of them.
I agree.
A lot of times, players, when you're breaking records, you're not going to harp on the record, stuff like that. And as a coach, you don't want to focus on the record most of the time that you're breaking a lot of records. But, if it comes in the flow of the game, you didn't go out there to break all those records. You went out there to play ball at your best. And that's what you went out there for, too. You went out there to win games, and just so happened in the flow of the game, you wound up breaking a lot of records. So, what did it actually feel like for you what did it mean to you, both of you, to break those records, to have Tyreke break those records?
I really didn't think about it. I just went out there and tried to compete, win. I put all that behind me.
Yeah. Just day in, day out, you're out there to play a game, one game at a time, huh?
Yeah.
Is it hard? It's got to be hard not to think about when everybody's reminding you every time you're in public, at every game, on Twitter. So it's in the back of your mind. So it didn't eat at you at all towards the end of the year?
I didn't think about it at all. I just got to go out there and play to my best.
I've always thought everything that you've done was in the flow of the game. I think you can look up sometimes, but like Tyreke's kind of having a slow game, and you look up and you got 30. It's so easy. It looks like for you to score, and it's always been in the flow of the game. And do you feel the same way? Did you kind of want him to break the record, or do you feel like it was something important for your team to get it done for him?
Yeah, I'm not sure the importance of breaking the record. I just know that, I owe lots of people in the community an apology because I lied to them several times when they'd ask me, how many points does he need to break the record? And I'd always say, well, I'm not sure. It might, it might be 112. It might be 125. I don't really know. And I was just trying to really keep the pressure off of him because I didn't want people coming up and say, hey, man, you get 22 tonight, you break the record. And Tyreke, I don't think that would have bothered him, but I didn't want to be responsible for people aggravating him to death. So I apologize to anybody in the community that I lied to, but because I knew all along, but I just kind of kept it hush hush as I could.
Well, how do you go out? How do you go out there and just wash everything else away? How do you get out there and play and not worry about the previous game, not worry about the next game? The hype around everything. How do you do that?
Once the ball goes up, you really don't think about it. It's everybody. You don't really pay attention. You can't really hear anybody yelling unless the other team scores. You're just zoned in. I just didn't think about it at all.
Just block it completely out.
Yeah.
I seen that last game y'all played. Whenever they, you tipped the ball, you was on him. You was on that ref, man. As soon as he was throwing the ball up, because that other kid had probably 3 or 4 inches of height on you, and he was a jumper too. We watched him, and you outsmarted him right there, man.
Yeah.
Just a little gamesmanship right at the beginning, huh?
I've done that a couple games. The guy's been bigger than me.
Yeah.
Well, what about passing 2 really big legends in the state of Tennessee? Penny Hardaway, who was a Memphis legend, who went on to be one of the biggest NBA stars of our generation. Hampered by injuries, he would have been an all-time great. And Tony Delk, who was great at Kentucky, then had a solid career in the NBA. So passing Penny, and then passing Delk, and then you got the tweet from Delk.
Yeah.
And I know, like I said, I know those guys were long retired by the time you started coming up. Have you checked them out on YouTube and stuff like that? You know who they are enough to.
Yeah, I've seen videos of Penny. I've not seen videos of Tony, but I've seen a lot of videos of Penny Hardaway.
He's a bad boy.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
And that puts in perspective what you just done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy that was arguably top 5 player in the NBA and was just as good. Maybe you didn't know about him at Memphis State in high school because he's coming from an area not as famous. But I met him last year at the state tournament, and I run into him and I said, "I'm here to watch a kid named Tyreke Key." And he goes, "I've never heard of him." And I said, "Check, he made from a small community." And I'd almost go down a limb that because he played at 1:00 that day. I'm pretty positive he's heard about you this year. You know, wouldn't you think?
Probably, I'd say so.
Yeah. So what about the tweet from Delk? I mean, how cool was it that you passed Tony Delk? And I know a lot of people were tweeting him saying, give him some love, and he showed you some love.
It was pretty neat. I didn't think he was going to do it, honestly. And then I got on there that day, and he tweeted it. And it's pretty nice of him.
I mean, yeah, you're talking about a guy that's, like I said, 10-year veteran in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Talking about a kid from Salina, Tennessee, breaking his record, a 20-year record. You know.
You had another record that, not record, I guess you hold it. You was the first person in 16 years to get the MVP that wasn't on the team that actually won the game. And that guy tweeted at you too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was was he from Indiana, I think?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Kirk Haston, he played in Indiana, played for Bobby Knight. Yeah, in Indiana.
Yeah. Cool. He focused the trophy on the wall back in the locker room, I believe is what he said.
Yeah, he said he broke it on the wall or something. He said something about me hoping I didn't do that or something.
Yeah.
He's the head coach at Perry County now. That's where I think that's where he graduated, Perry County, Tennessee. They beat us in 2011 in the state tournament. That's how I know that.
Well, tell us about that state championship game. Is there, obviously going at the gold ball, it was a heartbreaking game, but silver ball's a heck of a consolation. Is there anything, what's your thoughts on that game? Is there things that y'all wish y'all have regrets about that game, or just open up about the game? Tell us a little bit,
in the first quarter you come out and y'all played really well in the first quarter. You opened up with a big dunk, got a lob from Dawson. And y'all were running wide open there for a little while. How would the first quarter go for you?
I thought our energy was good the first quarter. We took a quick lead. Everything was flowing good.
Now everybody was playing really well and everything was going pretty good.
Yeah.
And y'all actually come out of the first quarter with a lead, I believe, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe y'all were up by 6 or so.
We were down 21-18.
You were down in the first quarter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we was down 3.
Okay. All right. And then you rolled into the second quarter. Y'all were ahead at halftime, though, weren't you?
We were up 3 at halftime.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you come into you went into halftime, and everything looked pretty good. I mean, the energy was behind you. The whole crowd was behind you. And so how did that go? Going into halftime, what was it like?
We felt pretty good. Going into half, everybody was fired up.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like you guys still had the game at halftime. I thought there was absolutely no way that you guys would come out and, I think it come down a few times. I don't want to sound like a homer here, but I really do feel like it was some bad officiating, and I'm not one to ever really say, hey, man, that refereeing was just not good. I thought there were some really, really bad calls there. There was one, I think Seth just kind of tripped, and they called one, but we'll not harp on the referees about that. But that's just me saying that. You guys ain't got to say that. But I thought they tried to maybe make up for some of those calls towards the end of the game. And, one thing about it, towards the end of the game, 4 of their starters had 4 fouls. And I felt like you could have just kept attacking because nobody could stop you that day. And you did. I mean, they were covering you so tightly, but and then there were some free throws, down the end. But I don't think you lost the game as much as they just kind of won the game at the end.
Yeah, I thought there were a lot of things throughout the course of the game. The first half, I think we missed 8 free throws in the first half, and 3 of those were the front end 1-and-1. So really, we may have missed 11 free throws there, 11 points that we let slip away. But I think it's a game that between 2 good teams. Mm-hmm. Harriman had 4 or 5 guys that are really good basketball players, really good athletes. They defended us well. They did a good job, especially toward the end of the game. They made a few adjustments that gave us some problems. We had some trouble defending them late in the game. We knew going in that they were really good at 2 things: offensive rebounding and transition game. And kids did exactly what we asked them to do. We out-rebound them for the game, 40 to 30. And they had 14 offensive rebounds. We had 13. They only had 4 fast break points. So we did a great job of doing those 2 things. There were 10 times that the game was tied, and the lead changed 7 times. So it's one of those games that was just back and forth the whole way through. There's a lot of different moments there you could look at and say, well, if we'd have done this, or if we'd hit that shot, or if we'd have done that. But, in the end, I think it's a situation where, if it was a college game, if it was a college championship game and ESPN Classic, I think they'd be playing it the next day as a classic. So, we came out on the losing end, but we feel privileged and fortunate to have the opportunity to play in that game, and that's why, as coaches and players, that's why we do what we do.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking to watch it and y'all lose, but it was a really good game to watch. I mean, both sides played really, really well right there. And like you were saying, they started making some adjustments late in the game. They started putting fresh legs on you. I mean, those people, I think they swapped 2 different guys in on you right there close in the last 4 minutes or so, and putting fresh legs on you. And it was really chasing you down, because you'd worked all 4 of those starters over pretty well.
Yeah. And that's what it come down to. I think a lot of people were saying, where you didn't take the last shot, and it kind of resulted in a lot of passing around. But I don't think people take into consideration the defensive job they were doing on you at the time, and it kind of led around to to the play where Dawson got the charge. But I mean, you were doing what you could. You were looking for your shot, but also they were covering you so good. And the other play that you made to Petey, where you kicked in the corner. I mean, you had taken over that game, but you were still looking for your teammates because it was in the flow of the game. And anybody that wants to criticize you, it's crazy because you have the ability to take over, but you were still looking for your teammates. But I thought it was really cool. Like I said, he's a heartbreaking game. I think if there's another 2 minutes in that game, another minute in that game, if you get one more possession after you knock the 3 down, if you get a stop, you never know what happens if there's another 45 seconds in the game or whatever. But, I mean, nothing to be ashamed of for sure. I'm glad that the voting committee did the right thing as far as that, because like I said, there's not a lot of times that a losing team gets the MVP, but there was no way to ignore those records. And I was proud of the Harriman kids for showing you the love they did. I thought that was awesome. So he already touched on it, so there's no sense in talking about it too long, but I'm just glad the committee done the right thing there. So looking to the future, you're obviously committed to Indiana State now, the place you signed with after your first visit, and seeing how well you played this season, and there's bound to be a lot more attention coming your way after that tournament. What was it about Indiana State that just made you so excited and comfortable there right off the bat just to go ahead and sign them?
I went on my visit, and I just had a good bond there. I felt like I was at home, and I got along with the coaches good, and their team was really – I liked hanging out with their team. They had a good bond with all of them.
Are you playing 2K online with them or anything?
No, not yet.
That's the thing.
And like I was touching on earlier, you've had some of your ISU football players that's going to be your kind of athlete brothers there reaching out to you since then.
I don't know any of them yet.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure when I get up there.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, I mean, a lot of people might look at it, coming in next season maybe as a rebuilding where you're losing 3 solid seniors and a 4th senior that was great in your rotation. So you're losing 4 seniors, a lot of younger guys. Would you look at next year as a rebuilding? Or are you confident in these guys that I'm looking at the talent? I think within 2 years you're making another solid, deep postseason run. Myself, that's my opinion.
Well, I think last season a lot of people had the same opinion. Maybe we lost 3 starters. We lost John Wayne and Clay and 6'6" White. Big Mabry, and coming into this season, I knew we would be better offensively. I didn't know how we'd be defensively, and turned out we scored a lot more points than we did last season. And I think next year, we need a couple guys that got a lot of minutes this year to fill some spots. Obviously, we're not going to have anybody score 38 points a game. I wish we did, but and it's not to say that those guys are not capable of having a game like that, but averaging that is a little different. But I think we're going to have several guys that are capable of scoring 15, 18 points a game. So I think we're going to be a tough matchup for a lot of teams to guard. We've got to develop a couple shooters, guys that we can depend on to make outside shots. I know what we're going to get from Gavin. I know what we're going to get, from Seth, Jay Keith, BJ, Ben Bailey, Mason Sharp. Those guys, we've got to figure out what we're going to get from them. And Sage Tieran, another sophomore that that'll probably see some minutes next year. So I don't know that there's some holes that have to be filled, but that's what summer camps are for. That's what the off season's for. I read a quote the other night. I was reading something and it was just a big long list of quotes, and it said, champions don't have an off season, and that's kind of how we look at it. So if we're going to be good, then we don't have much of an off season. Our off season's pretty much over right now. We're going to start back next week doing stuff, getting ready for next year. So.
One thing about you've always got guys stepping in each year. Like I said, I thought you were really going to miss White a whole lot with his as big as he was and the post presence he had. But I thought Gavin did well in stepping up in his spot. Jake in spots down low, and then I think you'll continue to find that because John Wayne was a good shooter, good defender. Clay was a very good defender, and in many ways, Seth and those guys like that step in defensively, and Dawson taking those charges. So. I have confidence that you'll bring the best out of these guys that you have coming up. And like I said, 2 years, I think you're right back in there. And that's just my opinion, my expert podcast opinion there.
I hope you're right. We're going to work at it. We're going to work hard. There's no doubt about that. And we'll just have to see what happens.
Well, you mentioned to me on text that you're realigning next year. You're going to have some new teams coming in your division. How's that? Your district, how's that going to affect you?
Well, we're going from District 7A to District 6A, just changing the number really. Picking up 3 more teams in our district. We'll have the ones we've had for several years: Clay County and Clark Range, Monterey, Pickett, Jackson. We're adding Red Bowling Springs is coming back to our district.
It's always fun to beat up on Red Bowling.
No comment. Gordonsville and Trousdale County. We'll have 8 teams in our district, so it'll make for a much more interesting district tournament. You have to battle a little bit hard. The regular season is going to mean a little more now because only the top 4 teams from the district tournament make the region tournament. Mm-hmm. So seeding going into the district tournament is going to be pretty big because right now the format's going to be the first round, the higher seed's going to host. So if you're the 3, you're going to host the 6. The first round of the district tournament. So, if you end up the 6, you're going to have to travel and play, or, if you're the 5, you're going to travel to the 4, and so on and so forth. But, and it's obviously much tougher to win on the road than it is at home in the district. So,
and Van Buren gives you all a good matchup generally every year to year, don't they?
Van Buren will be really good next year. They've been really good. They made the state tournament 3 consecutive years, just like us. Right. The difference between them and us is now they get everybody back. They get their
the big kid comes back too.
They get Caden Mills. He's committed to Tennessee Tech. Probably be a Mr. Basketball candidate next year. Should be, I think. He's back for his senior year. He's going to be a tough matchup for anybody, and they shoot the 3 so doggone well that they'll be a hard matchup for anybody in our district. So and they're going to be in our region now. The region's also changing from Region 4A to Region 3A, and we'll be traveling south for region games. We'll have Van Buren, Richard Hardy, South Pittsburgh, Ivy Academy, and Whitwell will be on the other side of the region. So Watertown's going to 2A. Merrill Hyde is going somewhere back toward Nashville. Good Pasture's going to Division 2 and the private school division. So
okay. Definitely tougher competition next year and more challenges. Tyreke, just to kind of close up a few things, we've went longer than probably you've had an interview. Most things, like Rob said, I emailed him the questions over. He probably looked at it like, "What's this guy doing?" But a lot of Clay County fans will listen to this, whether it be on iTunes or YouTube or it's on Facebook Live. This is my first ever time doing anything on Facebook Live, so we may have churned this out for the last 45 minutes, not had any sound on it. I have no idea. I hadn't looked at the phone yet. But I've never seen anybody, especially in the last several years, that had a big touch and the way you were, touched the community and the fans just showed you love. I mean, I had grown people talking about basketball that I never knew watched basketball in their life in this county. You had kids idolizing you. I mean, my son goes to school at Jackson County, cares less about going to radio with me, podcast. I said, I'm interviewing Rob and Tyreke tonight. He goes, I'm going to go to radio so I can go to podcast. So he's doing a heck of a job here, Facebook Live, interviewing. what would you like to say to the community of Clay County, Salina, Hermitage Springs, just for everything in the last 4 years?
It's been the best 4 years of my life, and just a big thanks to all the fans coming out and supporting us. It's a great big deal. They helped us out a lot winning all those games.
Absolutely, it carried you through a lot. It got you the momentum in a lot of games, and
they gave us that energy.
Tell them start buying the Indiana State gear now.
Yeah.
I know Randy Birdwell is already talking about renting the party vans and heading to Indiana State. He's ready to get a 15-passenger van. I've already bought my ticket. I'm in the shotgun. Any trip with Randy Birdwell, I'm signed up for. No matter what it is.
I have them in class sometimes. I get those stories. So.
Well, I had a few questions from Bonnell that come up this way. A lot of people are really interested in where all did you get offers from, or where all did you go see whenever you first started?
I got offers from can't even remember, Lipscomb, Tech. There was one team in Arizona, I think.
Northern Arizona.
Yeah, Northern Arizona.
Imagine how pretty the girls are out in Northern Arizona. Come on, man. Ain't nothing but pretty cows in Indiana.
I'm trying to name some of them at the top of my head.
Yeah.
Northeastern out of Boston, UT Martin.
UNC Charlotte, you said, too? With Mark
UNC
Price?
Charlotte, Mark Price.
And then after the state championship, there was a lot more hype around you.
Mm.
So did you get any other offers after the state championship game?
I ain't had nobody else talk to me after that.
Oh,
I guess they figured I was
already committed.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you what, the stories were rampant about other people having already offered you something and you was decommitting and heading other places. So you're an ISU guy through and through.
I'm set already.
Good.
So it's a small town, kind of like, is it a small town kind of feel?
Yeah,
That's what you
kinda,
feel
yeah.
good about it. Well, it's not too far. How 5 hours?
About 5 hours, yeah. I haven't been there yet, but that's what they tell me.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything you'd say to your teammates, too? I mean, I know anything that, and it may not be the cool thing to do, but you've been through thick and thin with them boys state tournament run. You're forever in history in Clay County now. Anything would you like to say to your teammates listening?
Just a thanks to them. We all worked hard together. They should get all the credit too. I mean, we all
Absolutely
fit into the game. And we had a lot of fun with each other. I appreciate that. Been the best 4 years.
Well, I thought it was a well-disciplined team. I thought it was a fun team to watch. Once again, the most willing superstar I've seen on a team to involve his teammates and to take what credit you could give and constantly give it to your coach, give it to your teammates. Not a lot of superstars would be willing to do that. So it was a pleasure to watch you this year. I'd like to congratulate both of you on your run. Glad to have you down here on the other side of the bridge today, over here in Springerland to join us.
Yeah. Well, what do you got here?
Well, speaking of that, I brought
Okay.
you guys a little something there. It's a Clay County hat. It has a bulldog on it. I know you guys are both Hermitage Springs alum, so you may catch some flack if you wear it out, or you may just want to hang it in your basement or something. I don't know, but
No, I'll wear it.
I thought we should bring you guys something for
that's-
having us on a few times.
That's really nice, and that's for everybody that's listening. We'll get a picture of this and get it out there. Unfortunately, I have a monster head. It's almost the size of a football helmet when it doesn't have a football helmet on. So I will prominently display this down here in the basement, and Dustin will have to wear it for us.
How's this look?
That looks really good.
I got a weird shaped head. Like he's got a huge head,
It's
but
huge.
I've got a weird shaped head, like an oval kind of some weird. With me all the time, but I feel good in it. I'm gonna take a purple Sharpie, just kind of like put a little purple on
Yeah, that's
it.
fine. It's your do with as you wish.
No,
Yeah.
man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really awesome. And I see your hat there too. You got your ISU Sycamores hat there on.
I do. I'm a Sycamore fan now.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, my idol growing up, basketball wise, was Larry Bird. And,
Right.
Just that just so happens that's where he played.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with Tyreke committing there, but a couple weeks ago, went to a Pacers game, and of course he's the I don't know what he is, executive officer, he player personnel or president or something, and he was sitting about 40 feet from me.
That's pretty awesome.
You know, I was just like a little kid, you know. I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Got his autograph and didn't get to talk to him or anything. He didn't talk to anybody. He just, during full timeouts, he would sign autographs.
That's awesome.
He had his own Sharpie. You just hand him something, he'd sign it. And I meant to wear this hat.
Yeah.
And I forgot it. But that would have been great to have gotten that signed by him. But, you know, that's part of the deal. I talked to the coaches at Indiana State. I said, you know, I mean, I can get Tyreke signed for you. I got to meet Larry Bird sometime. You know, that's
we just got one
part of the deal.
Right?
That's right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, all right, guys. Thank you once again. We'll get you out of here. I think the storm's passed. We're all safe. We was down here in the shelter just in case.
Yeah.
So, I hope everybody on Facebook Live enjoyed it. I hope there was sound for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
good luck at ISU. We wish you luck. We'll try to make a trip up there to get to see you play. And
I'll be there. Randy Bird will be there on the bus.
I'm probably going to come up separate from that bus. Rob, obviously, you know, we wish you luck next season too, and we're excited to see what's coming our way.
We're looking forward to it already. You know, we're ready to get started and look forward to a good summer and look forward to having lots of folks in the gym again. And just like to say how much we appreciate all the support that we got this year, especially you know, through the tournaments. We had the biggest crowd at every tournament we went to, district, region, and probably at that state tournament. I didn't see any of those AAA games, but you know, lots of times those Nashville AAA teams will have good crowds. But you know, Clay County crowds. Clay County fans are the best. I mean, they just they're really good to us.
We was listening to some of them on television, and the commentators were saying, I wonder if Clay County left anybody in Clay County with you. So everybody was down there. They asked if anybody locked the door on the way out.
Yeah. And another thing that drove me crazy, listen to the radio, your second, the Friday game, I didn't get to come to, and I was listening on the radio, and they kept saying, hey, we got Tyreke Key. I said, kid's putting 50 on people. We can't get his name right. Oh, man. Oh, you're killing me. They'd say Tyreke, Tyron. I said, come on. He had 54 yesterday. Put Tyreke. It's not that hard. Sound it out if you got to. I don't know what you got to do.
Yeah.
But no, and I will take you up because I didn't want to pressure you too much this year on my padded seats. I knew it was too crowded this year. I didn't want to put too much pressure on you. I will be there to claim my padded seats.
I'm going to work on it.
It's got to happen, man. I've got you on recording saying that you're going to do it for me, and every time I went over there, somebody was sitting in them. What kind of respect I get around here. All right, guys. Appreciate it. We'll let y'all get out of here. Thank y'all for listening. When y'all listen to this, thank you for everybody checking it out on Facebook Live.
All right. Thanks, everybody. So that was Rob and Tyreke, and boy, that was a fantastic interview. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I was afraid we'd overwhelmed them there a little bit because I typed out some daggum questions. But like I said, Rob said at the end, it kind of flowed good, and so very appreciative of those boys coming down. Love our hats.
Love our hats. Yeah, that's fantastic. I wish my head was normal size.
Yeah. So that was awesome to have them come down. I'm glad everybody appreciate all the feedback from Facebook Live. It was a last-minute decision, so you guys actually missed about 10 minutes probably of what we recorded. I was going to read some comments off that just for a minute if I can figure out. I've never Facebook Live before. It was my very first one, so that's why I looked all stupid with my selfie in the front. Blake Allen says, because I know Blake Allen will listen to this because he's a very loyal listener. He says, Rob Edwards for president.
I'd vote for that.
Yeah. Ask Tyreke if ISU plays anyone close to home so we can drop in on the student section and watch. And I replied to that, Blake. Western Kentucky is what Rob said. He's also
no date on that game yet?
No, I have no idea. Also tell Rob I'm a Blue Devil for life, but I wish I could have come play for him for my senior year. Me, Saylor, John, and Casey could have done some damage. Not enough balls to go around, brother. Vaughn McLaren said, I have seen all of them play. They are all great athletes. In my book, Tyreke's the best all around. I did enjoy watching all of them play. Joyce Bullock said, hey, Dustin Kennedy. Hey, Joyce Bullock. Tanner Harvey said, hello, everyone. Hello, Tanner. Brenda Keith. Thank you guys for sharing. Hey, Rob and Tyreke. Hello to you too, Brenda. Sheila Collins, proud of our team, Russell and Sheila Collins. Yep. Looking forward to
Russell and Sheila.
Following Tyreke's future in next year's team. Tiffany Bowles, way to go, Waylon. You're doing a great job. Hey, not only did Waylon, we'll get into it in a second to wrap up, but Waylon did Facebook Live and he talked to my radio show. We'll talk about it in just a minute. Tyreke, your first class all the way, as Tiffany Bowles. Angie Bailey had a bunch of hearts and question marks on my phone because I'm too stupid and lazy to update my phone. So I think those are supposed to be some kind of
something else besides the question marks.
yeah, like some happy feeling that Angie Bailey was feeling. Letitia Abbott Key, I'm sure it's Letitia. My mispronunciation there. Bulldog Proud #1. Sharon Combs, proud to be a Bulldog. Hope she heard all the kind words I said for Heath during that because I love watching that kid play. Kiana Silk, hearts and a question mark. It's not a question mark. I also love watching her voice play ball. Mark Poindexter, cool guys. And Angie Bailey said, always proud. So thank you guys for watching that. It looks like it had 418 views and 10 shares, which had 6 shares when we just started recording this other part. So, hey, man, that's awesome. Maybe we should start
Facebook Living.
On our guests, at least.
Yeah.
For sure. So, anyway, to wrap up their section before we do. So, this is the part, if you turned in just for Tyreke and Rob, you can turn the show off now.
It's over now. Thanks to those guys.
We're going to talk about some stuff that didn't get talked about in the last week when we missed. So, thank you guys for listening, watching, sharing, commenting. Appreciate those guys. Got a cool Clay County hat. And anything else?
That was just a lot of fun. That was a whole lot of fun. I'm excited about Tyreke's future for him. Excited about next year's season too. Rob's got a lot of hope in those guys coming up the next couple of years too. So it's
your dog just plowed the hell out of that chair right there. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
So
real excited about that for him.
So I went radio a while ago, and like I said, Waylon, the only reason he's here today is
because Tyreke is going to be here.
And
he's got a lot of dusting in him. Brock come in with 3 pictures for Tyreke to sign.
Yeah, he loved that dunk that Tyreke done, and so I stole that off the internet. And then also the picture they took together at the sub-state. So I remember really collectors. But I tell you what else he had a lot today is over at the radio station. He said he would not. Do you want to talk? Is that microphone on?
I was waiting for a chance.
He's waiting for his chance to talk.
Okay, we'll get up.
Hold on just a second. Let me walk over there. You keep talking.
Okay, so long story short, get onto the radio station, and Waylon's been on the podcast before, and he wouldn't speak. He kind of got a little scared on the mic, so he comes over and he says, "I'm going to speak today." So I did my segment about we did some Titan stuff. Matt Tuck called in, and I did the North Carolina game recap, and I did some Tony Romo stuff. So then he's like, I want to talk NBA with you. So we had a MVP debate.
Yeah. And
I said, you're not taking your boy LeBron? Because we've both decided that Russell Westbrook deserves it because he's going to average the first triple-double in history since the 60s, probably. And so we're going back and forth, and he's a big LeBron fan, obviously. He's a big Cavs fan.
He told me earlier that Russell Westbrook was the best player in the league. Except for LeBron James.
Talking the microphone.
Yeah, I did say that.
Okay, so for all the LeBron haters, because I've always wanted to buy Waylon tickets to the Cavs game, but I'm afraid that I'm going to be that dad that was in Memphis in December. And what are you mouthing over there?
Nothing.
You act like a Hamilton.
Nothing.
And so I don't want to be that dad in Memphis holding the sign that says, spent $500 on tickets, $250 on a hotel room, drove 5 hours, and LeBron stayed at home. Because he's a prima donna diva that can't ever take time, to rest at home in front of the teams the fans that see him 41 times a year. He does it for the fans that see him once a year in Memphis that drops all kinds of money to come see him. So go ahead and defend your boy. Defend your boy.
How about them Warriors against the Spurs the other night?
They
sat their entire starters.
Well, that's bull crap too, but I love the Warriors. So.
Because you're a bandwagon.
That is true, man. I am a bandwagon, but when Shaq left, I took 5 years of grieving. I took a hard toll on me to try to find a new team because Shaq was my man. I went everywhere he went. Not literally, but
LeBron has more minutes than MJ and Larry Bird. So he has a reason to sit.
So if I dropped 500 bones, as Mackie says, to go see this cat play, and he's sitting at home resting.
And that's what you think. That's an opinion.
He just schooled you.
I don't understand.
It's an opinion.
What's an opinion? That
I'm the bus driver and I'm taking you to school.
You about to hit the ditch. You keep messing with me. Don't drop a mic. That's an expensive one right there.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not an opinion. I said what if we went to see him and he didn't play? There's not an opinion there. That was a question. First off, yeah, bus driver. So you'd be completely happy if Daddy and Mama
No,
back
I
off.
said I would kind of be mad because it's not my money spent.
Oh yeah, but I'm taking what you didn't know. If we go, I'm gonna take it out of your I'm gonna take it out of your savings account. So so
You're taking Dad to the game, bus driver.
yeah, exactly.
He wouldn't even do it if he had the chance.
So you'd be happy to go to Atlanta, Memphis, Indiana, all the closest markets for the NBA, and thinking you're going to see LeBron, thinking you're going to see Kyrie, and we end up seeing Darren Williams, an old, ugly version of Darren Williams. You're going to see Richard Jefferson at 84 years old. That's
36, and he posterized Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. So
okay. He did do that. So, but anyway, I appreciate you being my little mini-me today and acting just like me over here in the studio.
That's what I was thinking. That kid's turning out just like Dad.
He knows stats about
I would
the
say
NBA.
he's all over you for some stats.
I'm
really.
ate up with NBA since age 10, 9, 10. And it gets to the point where the house where, like, if he's not playing 2K and getting yelled at because he's a punk and don't know how to lose,
Mhm.
like, I literally walk upstairs and I'm like, dude, what's the problem? I'm like, you all right? I was mad with this stupid game. I was like, dude, are you not Cleveland? Yeah. You're up 15. What are you yelling about? Why am I fixing to have to separate you and your mom right now? Because she's about to lose her mind up in here. God, you got all sorts of comfortable. Then
I would say he's just like Dad, except for he's got comfortable with this microphone, and
I am
Dad forgets how to
comfortable.
able use it every time he comes in.
Well, I gotta get a picture of this. Of little look at yeah. Why are you trying to be all nonchalant now, Tony Schiavone? Nobody got that dated
No,
1990s wrestling reference.
You're gonna have to, if you're gonna hold on to that thing, you're gonna have to hold it still.
Okay, so what else has been going on? I want to apologize if he does listen to this episode. He may not, because he may not care anything about high school basketball. But Matt Mayberry and James Mayberry were scheduled to come down last Wednesday.
Yeah.
To come down, pick some tunes for
Mhm.
us, and play. He's going to play some originals, play some covers, and I loved what he done the other night during the ACMs because they were such crap. He's like, ACM suck. Let's listen to good music. He took requests on Facebook Live
Oh, that's awesome.
for the entire night, which was really cool. Matt's really talented. Travis Humphrey's wanting to jump on that wagon too. He's wanting to come down and play because he said him and Matt talk about it every day. But a dear friend of mine, father passed away last week, and I was not gonna be able to make the funeral arrangements on Thursday and Friday, so we took her out to eat
Yeah.
Thursday just to spend some time with her. I felt bad I couldn't go to the funeral home, so that's why we get canceled on Matt. But those music shows are better suited for weekend anyway.
Yeah, they really are.
Time.
It takes a little bit more time on the weeknight. It pushes pretty late.
Yeah. These Wednesdays end up being late enough without tuning somebody's sound, their guitar to the computer, to the sound.
Yeah, and
that's your forte.
moving around and doing all that stuff. Yeah,
it's nothing for me because I just sit here and record the videos for our social media, and like, damn, it's a good song.
right.
Well, Lucas is like working his brain a lot over here.
Yeah, it takes a lot of input to make sure they sound right, make sure it doesn't sound like we're
Because you're a genius.
in a basement. I got a big head. That's about it.
Hey.
There's just a lot of room for stuff in there.
Well, you do a great job, partner of mine, podcast partner, not to be confused with life partner.
Yeah, for sure.
There ain't none
What
of
is
that
your boy
going
showing
on
us
here.
here?
It's
Somebody kissing Michael Jordan's head?
Because somebody cut his mic off.
Yeah, I'm going to turn Waylon off now.
okay. I can still get on your mic and his mic.
Not if I knock you on the floor. Tough guy.
I'll still get
So what else happened this week? What was you talking about, Romo? Romo's out.
He's off like a prom dress, out of here like last year.
Yeah, he's done, right?
He's working for CBS now.
Now, did he take an actual broadcaster position? He replaced, I just saw his name, and I can't remember it right now off the top of my head. Wheels?
Phil Sims,
Sims, yeah.
former quarterback. So if anybody wants to do an about face, they can hire Phil Sims, a 60-year-old.
Right.
I don't like Phil Sims. I don't think he's a very good announcer. He's a lot of times he's on the Titans jock, so I do like him, but I recognize his prejudice also. So it takes a little of his credibility off when he's talking about the Titans. But I think Romo will be great, man. I think he's very well spoken. I think he's got a great personality. I look forward to seeing him on CBS. And there's some teams that wanted him. Broncos wanted him, Texans wanted him, but and both those teams are in position to do something, especially the Broncos, but great defense. And if he was going to come back and play well and stay healthy, I did not want him in Houston because Houston's really just a quarterback away from doing some really special things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he would have come back and separated shoulder. In week 3, I was all for him suiting up for Houston to give the Titans an easier route to the playoffs. But
what was the final thing that made him want to go ahead and cut out?
I don't know. I don't know what happened. Maybe
he's not that old, is he?
36.
36.
Which in quarterback years
is not that much.
Not
right?
really. When Brady's going to play to 50, apparently.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't know if he just didn't have as strong interest in those teams as he had led on to have, or what. But yeah, it's. I think Romo got a lot of flack because he's with the Cowboys, because that takes so much attention. You're the Dallas Cowboys. You're America's team.
Yeah.
So to speak. A lot. That's the big franchise with Jerry Jones, and I just think that if he played quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, there wouldn't have been any of this criticism on him and all this hatred throughout the year that he got, just because he was a good-looking guy who played for the most controversial franchise in the NFL, and he was with really attractive women every time you seen him.
Mm-hmm. It's easy to hate on that guy.
And he come out of nowhere. He played at like the OVCs, like Eastern Illinois or something. I know I'm probably wrong on that. It was a smaller school. Then he come out of obscurity. He was a backup and led them, 4 Pro Bowls, 4 playoff appearances. I thought the guy was really good quarterback. Actually, from 06 to 2014, he led the NFL in game-winning drives.
Right.
Above Peyton, above Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Ryan, all these guys. So, like I said, probably a lot of unjust criticism of Romo just because of where he played and the ability to inability to stay healthy. But
let's talk a little bit more basketball. NCAA championships have obviously been going on. We haven't touched on those. First of all, let's talk about LeVar Ball and his kids. What is it, LiAngelo and yeah.
Well, and we talked about him on the last show.
Yeah,
that we did.
Yeah,
and he was. I don't remember where we left off.
Since then, he was telling everybody how UCLA was going to win the state or win the tournament while they were out there. He was. I think he was on. He was on one of the things. He was yelling, "Believe that UCLA is going to win it. Believe that.
Believe that."
And guess what they didn't do? They didn't win.
No, and his son laid an egg out there that last. Like he had 9 points, Waylon.
Yeah, but it had Tennessee.
No, I ain't trying to study them Tennessee. He had 9 points.
Yeah.
And if you're the superstar, and LeVar said his son's going to be the first pick of the draft, and
his draft stock dropped quite a bit whenever.
I tell you what, if I'm a team, and there's a guy that's got a similar upside of Lonzo Ball and maybe a better skill set, and don't have a big loud daddy, I'm looking at that other kid because I ain't trying to put up with his daddy for the next 5-10 years.
That's been the really unfortunate part for him, is because
the kid says nothing.
He doesn't say a word. He just goes out there and he plays. And he's not a bad player. He's got an ugly shot, got the worst looking shot, 3-point shot I've ever seen in my life to be as good as what he is.
It's ugly.
It is so bad. But
if it's not broke, don't fix it.
It is broke.
Well, it was broke against Kentucky.
Yeah.
Against Kentucky.
Show.
Yeah. And he just seems like a good kid, and so, but his draft stock's going to drop a lot, just because of all that bad publicism.
And his brother's coming up. It's going to be the same deal.
Exact same thing.
Then it come out his dad was a really bad player with a cocky attitude on the '95 Jets. He was on the special team, or on the preseason roster. I don't know that he ever saw playing time in the regular season.
Yeah.
But he was I forget what position they said he played. I read it and didn't care.
Yeah, averages big 2 points per game there. Yeah. His kid that's still in high school right now coming up. There's a monster out there in that high school right now at Spartanburg named Zion Williamson. If everybody hasn't seen him, they need to go out and look at him on YouTube.
Yeah, he's doing things I've never seen.
Yeah, 6'8", probably 230 right now. He's a junior. He may be a senior, but everything I've seen says he's a junior.
He's a junior, yeah.
And this kid's crazy, man. He's so good. And, to be that big a body, that young, he can jump through the roof.
And I've never watched him do anything but dunks.
That's all. Well, apparently that's the only thing he can do. Because nobody can stop him from doing it.
So he's not got the complete package, like say, I don't know, a Sharif O'Neal. shooting threes, dunking, blocking, assists, no looks.
You can tell he's a Shaq.
Daddy, all-time top 10. I don't know who Zion Williams' daddy is, but it ain't Shaquille Rashan.
You know what I can't wait to see?
What?
Zion Williamson dunk all over Sharif on him.
Yeah, he may do it, but he won't have a 15-year NBA career.
He might. You don't know.
I don't know.
This kid's gonna. I hope whenever he gets into the NCAA, and for sure he's going into NCAA. I hope
At least
he gets
for 1 year.
Yeah, right. I hope he gets on a good team. Gets on that Kentucky one and done team, or at least gets on a big UNC team.
Where he'll be spotlighted.
Yeah.
And Carolina just won they won it without any one and dones. They didn't have any of that hype going on. And
The team was good, but they only played as good as they had to win a game throughout the tournament.
They were consistent though.
Yeah, they were consistent. They didn't jump out and kill anybody.
No. And luckily, my bracket wasn't too shot. I still had some pretty good picks along the way, and I actually had Carolina beaten. Did I have? Yeah, Duke in one bracket, and the other one I fixed for someone else. I think I had Villanova and Carolina. So
Now,
I had Gonzaga.
that Duke
loser.
That kid from Duke that was such a drama queen. What was his name?
Grayson Allen.
Yeah, he's definitely not going anywhere.
Who knows, man? I mean, who knows?
His
Yeah.
inspiration is Dream.
Cool story.
Okay.
It is.
Do you have any references for that, or is that
Both
is that your personal opinion?
They both kick.
So that's just your personal opinion. I had that as the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life in the NBA the other day. It was Draymond, and who was it Harden that pinched him?
Yeah. Harden pinched him, then Draymond hit.
Harden had a bad wrist. This is what the NBA is coming down to. James Harden had a bad wrist. He pinched Draymond Green, so Draymond Green said he pinched me, so I punched him in the wrist. That's what the NBA is coming to. Forget the Jordan rules where he goes to the lane and Lambeer puts him on his butt. Forget the Knicks and Charles Oakley and John Starks and nailing Scottie Pippen.
He pinched me, so I punched him in the wrist.
Pinched me.
Yeah.
He pinched me.
James Harden.
Oh.
Charlie, that hurt.
That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit me.
Charlie.
So I bit him over the head with his own shoe. Hey man, we didn't get to talk about my concert.
Oh yeah. You got to say Justin Wells and Jason Eady.
That was so cool.
Was it Wells' house?
No, it was a neighbor. He said he lived about a quarter mile down the road.
He wasn't about to let anybody know where he lived.
No, he just said I live about a quarter mile down the road. We got there. Me and Derek and James got into Lexington later that evening.
Mm-hmm.
We went and checked in our hotel. Come back. Immediately. Good job, Waylon.
I was so lucky.
Justin first, as soon as we get there, you're not supposed to get there for an hour. I text Edie. He's like, yeah, man, just come on over.
Yeah.
He's like, we can hit this little spot up. There's a cool little bar and grill right up the road here. And so it was kind of close to showtime stuff, so we didn't fool with it. I got talking to Justin. He's like, hey, man, any one of y'all want to go up here and get me some Jack? So we ran up there to the store, got him some
Jack Daniel.
Got him some Jack. And, man, it was just so cool and intimate. It was a legit 50-person seating. We just sit off in a corner, sitting in chairs in the corner and listen to it. And
they just played acoustic.
Yeah, man, and no microphone. You don't need a microphone, obviously, in a common room with 50 people. But Justin, man, just belted out just the grit in his voice and the realness. And he played all the Dawn in the Distance album. And he said, I actually cut this song from my album because it was too happy. He said,
it didn't fit with what he was going for, huh?
Yeah. He was really good, and I loved him. I loved it. Then Jason Eady got up there, and it was like you could close your eyes and think you were listening to a CD.
Oh, I bet.
God,
he's smooth as silk, ain't he?
Man, he's so good, and I can't wait. I don't know if I'll end up going. It's in a couple of weeks to the one in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
It's only like $10 at the door, so man, if anybody's into that kind of music that I push down your throats, Jason Eady and Justin Wells, you gotta go check them out in Nashville, April 19th.
They'll be there with bands, though, won't they? They won't be in acoustic set.
Jason told me that he didn't know what Justin was doing, but he would be with full band, yeah.
Okay.
He just flew in. He had nothing. He played Justin's guitar. He flew in from Texas that day.
Didn't bring anything with him?
Brought nothing. He had his wife's shirt on. not her actual shirt, but her. Yeah. She's a singer, too, you know. So that was cool. And what else did we talk about on the last podcast? It was fixing to go. Bayless's birthday was success.
The day before I thought it was.
That was awesome of you. Yeah. I didn't think anything about it because the day of a birthday party, it ain't like you got a checklist trying to
figure out who's there. Kara got home and she's like, "You ready?" I was like, yeah. She said, good, because it was yesterday. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't know. Well, and I still wouldn't have thought anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
You probably owed me one. I didn't come to your gender reveal because I was doing something. So
Yeah. You're ass.
I hate that. I mean, I feel like that was really. You didn't come to our gender reveal.
You didn't invite me to it.
Shut up.
Okay.
Shut up. And it was even Logan's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I didn't come to that. I come to his.
You didn't come to Bayless's?
I didn't come to Bayless's.
So you called me an ass for no reason just then, basically.
No, I called it. That's for a reason, but I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't come to Wayland's because in 06 gender reveals weren't a thing, tough guy.
Yeah, you revealed to me that you was having a baby.
And you were there.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Well, that don't make up for shit.
Yeah.
But
I had a birthday while in there since our last time.
you didn't you?
I did.
And I told you happy birthday.
You did.
You ever tell me on my birthday?
I don't even know when it is.
See?
December 26th.
I am
know when it
so
is.
tired of being good friends to everybody that don't even tell me Facebook happy birthdays.
I don't tell anybody Facebook anything. I said thank you because Kara told me a bunch of people told me. Tell me happy birthday.
Yeah, you share a birthday with old Dusty Smith.
Oh, Dust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
That's about all the excitement that I've had since then, except for stopping and helping a guy that ran off the road today.
How old you turn first off? 32.
Yeah, 32.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you helped a guy in the ditch
Well,
today.
I didn't know if he was wrecked or not. I was coming up the road, and it was storming awful there for a little while, and it was hailing like crazy. And I was coming up the road, and there was a guy that looked like he'd just been fencing because the fence was down. He couldn't really tell anything of what was going on. And I thought, man, that looked funny. So I turned around and went back to check on the guy. Still couldn't tell much because it was raining so hard. So I drove back down the road and got real slow and seen where he'd slid off the road. Went down there, and poor kid was shook up. Didn't even hurt his truck. He come off real slow. He hydroplaned, come off the side of the road, come about 12, 15 foot down. He had a ride, but he had a ride and come through the fence. And I got down there and said, "You okay?" The only thing he could get out was, "This is the first time I've ever wrecked." I said, "Oh, I can see that." He's had a white shirt on. His poor old face was whiter than that. And I was, I was asking him if he was all right, and he just kind of shook his head and everything. And then, lo and behold, probably the luckiest guy in the world because a paramedic was the next person showed up. And he,
So there's no service on that road.
Absolutely none. I don't
Yeah.
even know how that was just somebody looking out for that kid that the paramedic was the next one that showed up. Now, luckily, there wasn't anything wrong with him, but he, looked him over anyway. And I told him, I said, "You're in better hands now than you was whenever I got here, so I'm going to cut out."
Yeah.
He said, "I've just never been in a wreck before." I said, "Okay, all right. Somebody needs to help him."
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
What the world is this? Carlos Huesca texted me in the middle of a podcast.
Wanting to call in.
He did my radio show today.
LV Law.
I couldn't understand what he said one bit. It was like,
This is recorded, Waylon.
I know.
This is just let you know
Yeah.
I've done
that you need to quit being ugly.
like you.
I'm too pretty to be ugly, son. You better hope you turn out like me. I ended up not pretty on last Monday, because after Bayless's party, I did some yard work
Yeah.
the morning of Bayless's party. This is my story. So,
Even though I'm right.
I'm just kidding, son. So I do what any smart guy that thinks they got poison ivy on their face would do. I took cotton balls with bleach and just kind of dab my face up like this.
Yeah.
Because like when I get in poison ivy in my hands, I wash them with bleach.
Yeah. For sure, don't put it on your face.
Yeah, well,
Nobody told you that, huh?
my wife encouraged it, but I could see her ulterior motive.
I would say she was.
She laughed her ass off, I think.
Yeah.
when
I'll
she-
say that was probably something else behind that.
Yeah, she's mean to me.
She
Really.
said, "This idiot's going to put bleach on his face."
Let me get that for you,
Let me
dear.
go get you some bleach.
I don't think you put quite enough on.
Let me get you a towel.
Precious.
Just soak that towel in it and rub your face.
Here's some chloroform too. Put
Yeah.
it on your mouth. Put it in her nose. So I got to the party and was like, "Dude, what's wrong with your face?" It's like, "Man, I put bleach. You put bleach on your face." I was like, "Yeah, I know. Shut up." Okay, too late. It's too late. So by the time I woke up Sunday morning, son, it looked like I was on the wrong end of a domestic, like I've been up Patty's or something, and got
yeah.
beat with a pool stick by Barry Birdwell.
Yeah.
I mean, my face was swelled up. It was red. It's nasty. It's disgusting. I looked like something off the Goonies.
Yeah.
He
And-
looked like Shrek from Shrek.
Ah,
Good story.
Shrek from Shrek, not to be confused from Shrek from Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. By the time I went to work on Monday, I had a friend of mine hook me up, give me a shot on the way to work.
Yeah.
So by the time like 5 o'clock, by the time I got off work, it was swelling to go down a little bit. I still got it though. Look,
But-
it's all on my wrist, arm still.
Yeah, you'll have it again next week since you rubbed it all over your seat there.
Rub it on you.
We're down here twisting this thing. Twist this table.
I don't think anything else much has went on.
That's about all I've got. I don't do a whole lot. I do this and I do this and I work. That's about all I got.
Well,
And we ain't talking about work.
that's what grown folks supposed to do. Supposed to work.
Hey, Camden is flipping side to side. You lay him on his back, and he's rolled right over.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. He's laughing out loud now, just randomly laughing at things.
He's LOLing, huh?
Yeah, he's lolling. That's a lot of fun getting to hear him laugh the first time.
Oh man, it's great.
Oh yeah.
And for some reason, and that's why I asked if he had any new developments, because I know it's also there's like their little marks or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what Bayless is going through, but man, he needs to stop whatever he's doing
Whatever it is.
because literally, I mean, screaming nonstop all the time, all the time, middle of the night. I sleep on the couch every night.
Not.
Camden's one of the best kids ever until 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock when it's time to go to bed. You from 8 o'clock at night till about 5:30 the next morning. You're gonna have to deal with him.
That's prime time.
He's mad. He's so mad.
That's a prime time. Just that sucks.
Oh yeah, you know what my favorite thing is? Wake up at 1:30, wake up at 3:30, and then pat a crying kid back to sleep, and then get up at 5 and go to work.
I've had a real bad cold. I was trying to kick the last 2 days.
Yeah.
So I was trying to kick it before tonight. So I just was like taking Alka-Seltzer and chugging Theraflu.
Yeah.
And so I woke up this morning at like 2 o'clock, wide awake. And then I heard Lindsay in there with Bayless like, "You've got to stop. Mama's got to have some sleep." And I heard her getting up, and I went, I know it's
I'm out.
I know it's
I'm out.
sorry, man. But I was tired too. I was trying to get myself back to sleep.
Yeah.
And then I was so mad. Like 3:15 rolled around, and you know what I was doing? I was fixing my lunch sack and my protein shake and stuff. I was about to go to the gym at 3:30 this morning just because I couldn't go to sleep. I was wide awake, and I was planning on going at like 4:45 and getting up. Anyway, I was like, I might as well just go.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in this world I'd rather be doing at 3 o'clock in the morning than going to the gym. Promise you.
Almost anything.
I finally just lay down and made myself go to sleep. That's some weird dreams too. I don't remember them.
See, that's what happens to me a lot of time. Kara, unfortunately for Kara, I dream real crazily anyway. I have some crazy.
Do you remember them?
Every time, and I have some real crazy dreams. And Camden's crying. If a lot of times just turns into part of my dream that something's going on, so I don't always wake up for it. So she has to deal with it a lot more than I do.
Do you remember them like just when you wake up, or do you remember them like a day later?
I can generally tell you what it was exactly when I wake up.
Gary Dunham used to do this. He used to be like, come to work and be like, I've got a story, and he'd tell me a dream, and dude, it would last 15 minutes, and I'm like, I don't even believe you after
Just like
this.
your stories.
I don't even know why you're still here with a microphone on. You're so mean to me.
Turn it off then.
I try to be nice to
Just
you.
happened.
Ask and ye shall receive, punk, little unappreciative kid. I'm just kidding, buddy. Yeah, I'd be like, dude, I ain't believed you in the last 12 minutes because anything that lasts over 3 minutes in a dream's a lie. You're lying to me right now. There's no way. It's so vivid. Even when you're dreaming, you're like, I'm trying to remember this when I wake up. You never do. I don't.
Oh man,
You can.
all day long. I mean, I'll just have to run them through my head all day long.
I believe you and Gary Dunn just dream liars.
No, I can't quit. I can't quit believing them.
I don't believe that story. I don't believe that.
Well, I think this is about enough for the night.
Yeah, we're going to have to shut Waylon off. It's about bedtime for him anyway.
Yeah, I say you got to get this kid to sleep, and I've got to go to sleep too. Hold on.
What, do you want to say something, buddy?
Go ahead.
But always remember, the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead.
Oh,
He dropped the mic and walked out.
that kid.
I'd have gave anything if he'd have tripped over something on the way.
That kid is so cursed to be my kid.
Yeah, I don't even know what I don't even know what he said.
Always remember the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead.
Oh,
Goodness gracious. That
he's
kid,
Cavs to the end, ain't he?
I guess. Man.
Yeah. All right,
guess.
everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
We'll see y'all next week.
See you.